Sam Darnold, we called it yesterday on the show. We called it last week. Carolina was the place I was being told they were the most interested. The story is out after Easter weekend, after the Niners moved up. Carolina got very, very interested, and they made the move to get Darnold. First of all, I get it from the Jets' perspective, although, according to reports, a lot of people in the room thought about trading that pick. But I get it from the Jets' perspective. They get now a rookie quarterback on a rookie quarterback contract for 4 years. The new coach wants his quarterback. The new GM wants his quarterback. I get it. From the Carolina perspective, it was obvious. We saw it coming. They need a better athlete and somebody that can push the ball down the field. Matt Rule is an aggressive head coach. He likes to go big up top with Robbie Anderson, and Teddy Bridgewater doesn't have that arm. So I get it. Here's the interesting thing. In life, forget sports. In life, nobody thinks your first job is your last job. If it is, be honest with yourself. You settled. Chase the commerce, chase the economy, chase opportunity. Your first job's lousy. You move on, get a second job. It doesn't define you for life. You're like 22, 23 years old. In all of our lives, even if you have a very professional job, your first law firm's not your last. Your first hospital as a doctor doesn't have to be your last. But in football at quarterback, not sports, but specifically in the NFL at quarterback, if your first job doesn't go well, like Sam Darnold with the Jets, you often get dismissed, ignored, labeled. And you're 23. That's how old Sam Darnold is. 23. I got my first job at 22. All Sam Darnold has ever deserved is a fair chance. In New York, his offensive line, his running backs, and his receivers all graded bottom 2 in the NFL. In Carolina, between Matt Rule and offensive coordinator Joe Brady, he gets an upgrade. How much of an upgrade? I don't know, but at least it won't be toxic. Offensive line. Though Carolina needs to draft a left tackle, and they will with their first pick, it's a competent offensive line with an excellent right tackle. Weapons, Christian McCaffrey, top 3 back in the NFL. Robbie Anderson, a speed receiver who Darnold's worked with before. DJ Moore, more than equipped weapons upgrade. In a division, by the way, that doesn't have 3 great defensive coaches, Sean McDermott, Brian Flores, and Belichick. No, this division's all about offense. Bruce Arians, Sean Payton, Arthur Smith. No more Belichick twice a year. No more Brian Flores twice a year. No more Josh Allen. You have Bruce Arians retiring soon. Saints are transitioning. Atlanta, again, is rebuilding. It's very soon a winnable division. All Darnold deserved was a chance. And with quarterbacks, it's not about the win-loss record. I look at traits. Darnold has great traits. Coachable, tough, alpha, physical, leadership, guys like him. He's got all the traits I like. Yes, he's more mobile than Teddy Bridgewater. Yes, he's got a much bigger arm. Think about this, and this often happens in life, is that, what do they say? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The reason Darnold is getting what most young quarterbacks do not get, a second chance, and a good second chance, is the Jets' dysfunction. It's the Jets' dysfunction that almost killed Darnold's career. But the irony is, it's what is giving him a second chance, because people go, well, hell, nobody could have succeeded there. How bad is the Jets' dysfunction? When Sam Darnold didn't play for the Jets, they were 0-10 and averaged 13 points a game and 150 passing yards. Statistically, they were the worst offense in league history, including the 76 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You thought Darnold struggled when they played. They couldn't get first downs when he didn't. And never forget this with Sam Darnold. He's younger right now today than Joe Burrow, than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And remember, he came from a program, USC, and I'll say this diplomatically, where he was offensively undercoached for several years. With Trubisky, you never saw the wow. With Blake Bortles, you never saw the wow. With Tua, I don't see the wow. I've seen wow multiple times with Sam Darnold, and that's why, according to reports, the Jets, despite Darnold's record with Gase, were split on him. They were split on him. Saleh liked him. But the belief was if you kept Darnold and drafted a quarterback, it would be a distraction, and you had to pay Sam very quickly, and you don't have to pay Zach Wilson anything for 4 years. I get the Jets move. We called the Panthers move. Rooting for Sam Darnold. Root for all young quarterbacks, but especially Darnold, because in life, none of us get buried if our first boss, our first job is lousy. But in the NFL at quarterback, bizarrely, you do. So yesterday when the Darnold thing happened, I'm rooting for Sam. I know Sam. I know his family. I'm really rooting for the kid. But I thought the winner in this was Zach Wilson, the BYU quarterback. So think about this. Joe Douglas, who had a very good draft last year. I know Joe. He's the Jets GM. Very sharp guy. Now, he doesn't have a huge track record, so a lot of this is based on the draft last year. I thought they had a great draft. I thought they got really good players. But he has now accumulated so many draft picks. So I just want to talk about the next 2 years. He has 4 first-rounders, 3 second-rounders, and 3 third-rounders. That should be 10 starters. Let's say he whiffs on a few. Let's just say he whiffs on a few. Okay? He hasn't shown the ability to whiff yet. They have so many picks now, but I want you to think about this. So let's talk about what the Jets do have. Defensive line is set. They went and got Carl Lawson, paid for him, but a good edge rusher. The defensive line was good. Now it's special. They don't need to worry about that in any of those draft picks. They also have Mekhi Becton, a left tackle. Sam Darnold didn't get that. It was a revolving door. That's set. They also have, with the addition of Corey Davis at wide receiver, enigmatic but talented, and Denzel Mims, drafted him last year, Jamison Crowder. They've got weapons. They're not pathetic. They'll probably draft another receiver later, but they're not pathetic. So that's a pretty good starting point. What Zach Wilson gets. If you just look at the first 3 rounds this year, they get lucky too. It's a great year for offensive lines. They need offensive line help. What the Jets need is a corner, another running back, upgrade O-line. That's what they need. Let's just play mock draft time for the Jets. I went to a bunch of mock drafts this morning. I've seen almost all these guys play substantially. First pick this year, Zach Wilson. Rookie deal. So 4 years and not paying your quarterback. 23rd pick, this is the Jets pick. I would go Travis Etienne, the running back from Clemson. Great pass-catching running back. They will now be set at running back because they drafted a kid out of Florida last year who's a nice complimentary back. 34th pick, let's go get a right tackle. Dylan Radins, North Dakota State. Radins, people like him. I didn't see him play a lot. I've watched YouTube clips, called my guys on him. They like him. He's probably a year to develop, but you got your tackle bookends. 66th pick, Elijah Molden. Watched them a ton. Total baller, a playmaker corner from Washington. You solve that. By the way, a couple of their young secondary people are really talented. They have a safety from Cal and a corner from Virginia that have chance to be really special players already in-house. Your 87th pick. Let's go back to the O-line, the interior to protect Zach Wilson, Trey Smith, Tennessee. Okay, I'm just talking the first 3 rounds this year. I'm not talking the rest of this draft. I'm not talking free agency because you don't pay Zach Wilson anything. I'm not talking about next year's 2 first-rounders and multiple second-rounders and third-rounders. You could solve virtually, if you just draft these, you don't have a ton of holes. Now, the division's tough, the coaching is great, and Zach Wilson's a kid from BYU. But this is not what Sam Darnold entered. This is not a pathetic situation. It's rebuilding. It needs an infusion of energy, talent, and juice, but you now have a capable GM. Darnold didn't. You now have a non-toxic coaching staff. Darnold didn't. You actually have capable, after this draft, receivers and running backs. Darnold never did it. This is not a pathetic situation. In fact, the Jets just released their 2021 team poster. You can see it right here. New York Jets, we're not pathetic. It's actually very, very encouraging, and I think the winner is Zach Wilson. It's the opposite of the Carmelo Anthony deal to the Knicks, Carmelo Anthony was a Denver Nugget. He told everybody, I'm only going to the Knicks. So the Knicks had no leverage, had to trade all their parts to get him, and then Carmelo arrives in New York with nothing around him for years. It's the opposite. I actually think the Jets got an extra pick from Carolina I didn't suspect. They got a second, a fourth, and a sixth. I thought they'd get like a second and a sixth, a fourth and a sixth. So I think Zach Wilson's coming into a situation, it won't be toxic, capable GM. You'll have your right tackle, your bookend tackles. You'll have very capable weapons at wide receiver. Also, if you go out and get a running back, it's not a great running back class, but if you look at your early second, late first, there's a couple of potential star running backs in this draft. Good stuff for Zach. And we wish him well. Again, I want all these guys to succeed. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.